Yeah, Canadian horror.
Body bags were horror lies.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to week 125 here on Body Bags. I am your host, Moodz616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yeah, week 125 is here, and yeah, I've got another random one for y'all. This is actually a Canadian flick here that I've had sitting in my to-watch pile for so long. And popping in this one, I was doing a little bit of research, checking out who directed this and stuff, and it turns out this guy actually directed Ginger Snaps 2, the sequel, of course, to Ginger Snaps, and of course he was one of the three directors that was involved in A Christmas Horror Story, the anthology film from 2015. So that's very cool. I had no idea, actually. So didn't really know what to expect with this because those are like completely different projects. So anyways, this one right here, very indie film. I think from 2006 it says, and it's called The Chair. Simply titled The Chair. Yes. I really didn't know what to expect with this one because it gives you like a very brief synopsis on the back, and it's kind of weird how they explain it on the back. But anyways, this one right here follows your main character, Danielle. She is a psychology student. She's kind of dealing with some personal issues. She's on medication for kind of like mental issues and things like that. Anyway, she moves into this very old Victorian style apartment building to kind of clean up the pieces of her life and things like that. And also to settle in and figure out, what she's going to write for a thesis and things like that. So she moves into this place, and immediately after moving into this apartment building, she starts kind of dealing with these supernatural kind of things that are going on around in her apartment and things like that. Just strange things start happening to her. So of course she calls up her sister for a little bit of help because she's like, these weird things are happening. Of course, her sister doesn't believe her because she is dealing with some mental issues. She's on medication for it. But she really wants to prove to her sister that these supernatural, weird entity things are happening in this apartment. So she starts to like video document it and things like that. One thing leads to another. They continue to happen, and her sister kind of gets a little bit convinced when they start doing some poking around and figure out that this apartment was actually housed to a child murder from like 100 years prior. And they figure out that, this is what's going on in the place. One thing leads to another. She ends up getting possessed by this child murder's evil spirit, and now Danielle's got to figure out a way, to kind of get rid of this evil spirit that she's been possessed by before it ends up killing her sister and pretty much everything. And the child murder kind of finishes what he had started 100 years ago and things like that. So, but that is the brief synopsis of the film. Now, my thoughts on this one. I have to say, watching this one, the first half of the film was very impressive. It was very creepy. It was very kind of ominously shot. Very cool score and music. It was just creepy, it had that element of surprise. You didn't really know what was going to happen around the next corner, things like that. Acting was very well, and for the budget and stuff, I thought it was done very well. Very good cinematography in the film. I did learn actually that it was shot in Brett Sullivan's apartment, his very own apartment. So I thought that was very cool. But yeah, so it's kind of like a contained horror film. The whole thing takes place in this apartment building, which is very cool. But the first half of the film, very creepy, very ominous, very kind of really nice build-up and things like that. And you're kind of learning things as you go along. And then she gets possessed, and I feel like the second half of the film, that's where it kind of suffers a little bit. It loses that creepiness, and things start to develop from there and stuff. But it did keep me interested enough to obviously want to find out what happens in the end of it. And with that said, I think the very end of the film is kind of problematic and maybe a little bit weak at times too. But it's a decent watch overall. I really like the music in this. It's very quiet. It never tries to like jump scare you, what you would think in these type of, these supernatural elements in these films and things like that. But it never really tries to do that. It just relies on, just very creepy shots and, just natural cinematography and music and things like that. I really enjoy that about the film. Brett didn't try to go too crazy with this one. He kept it simple, and I think it worked for the most part. But I think the story itself, in the second half with the possession and, how things are developing with the child murder and things, I don't think it worked fully, in my opinion. But, there is a really good film somewhere in here. But yeah, I got to give up to the lead. The girl, Danielle, what's her name? Anna Crisholm or something? Very, very beautiful, man. Oh, she's just fantastic in this one. You know, oddly enough, this one is really not supposed to have any, you know, intentional funny moments. I think it has a couple of unintentional ones towards the end of the film. There's actually this line in the film where the killer's name was Crow, and it has something to do with this guy digging him up the body with a crow. But it's actually kind of funny. I rewound it. I'm like, did he just say that? But so that was kind of unintentional. So, but not a bad watch. If I had to rate this one, I'd probably give it about a 6 out of 10. It's definitely worth a checkout if you can find it for a couple bucks. But yeah, it's kind of misleading. I mean, it's not very misleading. The chair does have, you know, is part of the story and things like that. It's just, it seems like it's kind of an undertone to it a little bit. Not really an undertone, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. But there is a couple creepy moments with the chair though also. But yeah, so The Chair, check this one out. Not a bad film, guys. Anyways, that is going to do it for week 125. Forgot what week it was there for a second. But anyways, check you guys next week. Peace out, homies.